How's it going, y'all? Welcome to the first IRC special event to take place on this channel. If you've seen my post recently, I had posted a special event calendar with one race for every remaining month this year. The first round on my schedule will be the 4 Hours of Thruxton on the final weekend of May, featuring the TCR class. Now, not only am I not familiar with the driving characteristics of a front-wheel drive car, but my sports car rating has been in a tailspin these last few weeks. Even still, I decided to ready out the Honda Civic Type R in my garage and participate for my own number 79 team. Going into this race, I didn't want to keep my previous form going, so I did everything I could to make sure I got my car across the line. I didn't really care where I finished, all that mattered was that I finished the race. Sounds easy enough, no pressure at all. As we all set off with the first lap, I try my best to stay out of any corners that might ensue in these opening laps. Going into Campbell, I back off a little, and as I expected, an incident appears up ahead of me, with the number 37 Audi nearly spinning out. Now, I'm not trying to make a big deal out of nothing, but let this set the tone for the rest of the race. Later on, I avoid another incident with the number 12 Audi. At this point, it's become clear to me that all I really need to do is stay out of trouble, but that would be easier said than done. As I enter lap 5, I cautiously apply the brakes going into Campbell, but the Audi behind me didn't. That left me with a pretty big dent on my rear bumper, but this didn't get me down. As a matter of fact, just 10 laps later, I managed to get past the number 29 Civic that started right ahead of me. To be honest, he didn't really try to fight for the position, but either way, every position is more points. And to top it off, I managed to catch up to the pack ahead in only 2 laps. This proved that I could definitely keep up the pace, but I wasn't too worried about making up positions at this point in time. Eventually, most of the pack had driven off in only a couple laps, leaving just me and the number 63 Civic in tandem. In trying to keep up with him, however, I attacked the curb and cob a little aggressively. It's not anything that would cause any damage to my splitter, but it was enough to get me an off-track incident point. However, not even a lap later, I am able to get past the 63. At this point, I'm feeling pretty good about my performance so far. However, just 2 laps later, while I'm trying to pass a lap car, I notice a leader charging towards us. From here on out, I would have company on the track whether I like it or not. For the time being, I just continued running my race, but eventually I'm starting to notice that I'm suddenly gaining positions. I wasn't actively passing anyone, and I couldn't pinpoint why I was gaining positions, but I knew I had to keep doing what I was doing and keep the car in one piece. This continued for the next 20 or so laps, and at that point, I found myself running in the top 10. On lap 65, I decided to make my first pit stop. This gave me an opportunity to relax after constantly working the car around for about an hour and a half. Overall, the stop lasted for about a minute, and I got back on track with 4 fresh tires and a full tank of fuel. However, only 5 laps after coming out, my car slid wide and I had a minor excursion out of Goodwood. Not all my wheels went off, but this would still give me another incident point. However, I continued on, and after setting more laps and avoiding a few more incidents, I was back in the top 10. I would soon realize, however, that this race would not be as smooth as I thought it'd be, because going through Brooklands, 2 Audis ahead of me tangle up and crash. I just barely missed the 2 cars skidding back onto the track, but this will be a wake-up call for me, reminding me to stay sharp. The rest of the state was pretty uneventful though, and on lap 130, I come in for my second pit stop. After another minute-long break, I get back out with another 4 tires and enough fuel to get me to the end. However, this is when I started to space out a little, and it really came back to bite me on lap 142. I missed my braking point going into club, and I'm forced to miss a chicane and serve a slowdown penalty. Fortunately, the cars in the positions behind me are miles back, so I wouldn't lose any, but unfortunately, this gives me yet another incident point. After this though, the race was just as uneventful as it happened for the past few laps. Outside of this incident on lap 149 between the race leader and a lap car, which ultimately resulted in the lead team dropping out of the race. I managed to sneak into the top 5 with this little incident, but at this point, I was just waiting for the timer to run out. Seriously, this race was so boring I felt like I was back in school. Outside of another incident ahead of me, quite literally nothing happened in the rest of the race. I hit corner after corner after corner, running my race and putting down laps, all while the timer slowly ticked down. It felt like forever, but eventually, after 182 laps, after 4 whole hours of competition, I crossed the line, 5th place in the running order. This time when I crossed the line, I was basically forced to slow down. I had drained all the fuel in my car during the final stint. As such, I went right into the dirt before entering Cobb, and the race was over.